Task 4 is knot tying under tension using a two-handed surgeon's knot method. We pass the ligature around both sets of large tubes on the model. The timer starts when the trainee has each ligature in alternating hands. We start the exercise by crossing the suture, and then we will perform a surgeon's knot as thrown here in a two-handed fashion. We'll wrap it once and we will wrap it twice. Then we will make an adjustment to bring the strands into the colored segments as we tie down with tension on those ligatures as shown here in a square fashion. We will then alternate our throw going forward, reversing our hands as shown here, keeping a moderate amount of tension under on these ligatures as we come down with that second knot to avoid a gap here. We will throw the third throw again in a square fashion, and our timer stops at that point. We will then cut the ligature into with 1 centimeter tails. We will score for accuracy, and although it's faded, we are actually within the colored segments, although this one certainly abuts it. We look for any gap, and then we test for slippage as shown here, and our ligature broke as opposed to slid. And this was our ligature. I will do that again to highlight some of the things to avoid. Again, we pass the suture under both rubber tubings. We'll use a two-handed technique as shown here to do one wrap, then two. That's the surgeon's knot on the first throw. We will bring this up into the appropriate location. Then we will hold some tension on it as we throw the second throw in the alternating fashion, again alternating our hands, and then the third throw in the opposite direction, and then at a square. I'm just simply going to cut this out and show some of the pitfalls to avoid. Certainly if you don't cross your strands initially, you'll have to cross your hands during the first throw, and I think that is awkward, and it's going to be hard to keep the two pieces of tubing together. So again, cross them, do the surgeon's knot, and then you want to make sure that you don't leave a gap at that point, because when you throw the second knot, you will have an air knot as shown here, and the tubing will not come together. So you need to lift up and hold a bit of tension as you cinch down that second tubing. Also, if you try to pull harder in an effort to slide that knot down when it's not configured as a slip knot, the suture will break, and that will be counted as an error.